Welcome back to the channel. So I made this kettlebell that I could put weight plates on. It's like a 2¼ inch or a 2 inch, whatever that is, the Olympic size. This is an old version I made months ago and been using it a little bit. And I don't know what I was. Bam! That is the existing kettlebell. Little hockey tape here. It didn't come out perfect, but it came out functional. Sticking with all these threads, and I actually made it a little shorter, but it takes a bit to screw and unscrew the threads. And also, I kind of wish I did it the other way so that I could put this on the ground and put the weights on it and then twist the handle on rather than try to hold the handle upside down and put the weights on the handle and then screw this in and screw it in too much. And so I got tired of doing that, and so I decided to do a new improved version of it. And let's see. So this is a new improved version of it. And so I have this pin, and the pin is very primitive. I could make it better, but it's just a kettlebell. It's really not gonna. It doesn't need to be super secure. And so I just made the slot here, the hole, sort of oval shaped. So if I hide this, you can see it's sort of oval shaped. And don't mind some of those artifacts in there. So it'll just kind of slide in and then drop down, and it'll just be enough to hold it in place. So like if I move these guys out, and so I just started the print like 10-15 minutes ago. And so you pull that pin out, and then you would that would allow the bottom to drop out. Whoa, not trying to rotate it. That would allow the bottom to drop out. Right? And so, as you can see there, don't mind these pins. These are just sort of for subtraction geometrically. So basically, I'll put this on the floor, and I'll drop some weights on it, and then I'll drop the handle on it, and then I'll push the pin through, and then pin should drop down and not fall out. And like I say, it's not a critical pin application here. So anyway, let's undo that, and then that. Undo those. Undo that. All right. And so now, I guess if I just go like this. And so basically, let me do this. I should have kept that. So I'm just going to show how this is constructed here. Translate. Okay. And so this is 3 pieces. Well, actually it's more than 3 pieces because there is a pin in there, but I didn't move the pins down. But so there's basically, that's not very visible in black. So these 2 holes there. And I hope those made it. I hope. I think I probably just messed that up. I'll probably just reprint this one again because it's just a mirror image anyway. Did I? Let's see. I have to check this guy. Nice. I have the holes in here. So I messed up the SolidWorks model, obviously. So this is obviously sliced. This is all the parts. So you can see here, basically this is actually a good visual. The handle is in 2 halves for better printing. I didn't put a support in here. I think it'll probably be okay. I realized later that the last one I did put a support in here, like manually. And of course that printed okay. But I was also printing threads on that one, and this is not threads, it's just a slip fit, so I think it'll probably be fine. I guess we'll find out, and I can trim stuff out if I need to. Printing in PLA. The other thing about this orientation is so all of the layer lines will be in all the loads will be against the grain as opposed to pulling the layers apart. So had I just sort of printed like this piece, like this piece and this piece. I could have just printed that standing straight up as one piece, but then the layer lines would have been parallel with the, or I should say perpendicular to the force of gravity, which would let the weakness of the interlayer adhesion of PLA probably pull it apart over time. Whereas I have them laying down so that when I put them together, the layer lines will be in tension and on like this part. And really it's only critical like right here and right here. But that'll be pretty thick. I think I did 4 layer lines. I'm sorry, 4 shell walls. And so it should be pretty strong. So anyway, so these two go together, and you can see that there are holes for pins there, and that's what these pins are. And you can see the shape of these pins is sort of barbed, and the holes are sort of barbed. And there's a bit of clearance there, but they should snap together pretty well. And then similarly with this, these are different, little different pins, but very similar, a little smaller. Same thing, barbed holes, little clearance, and they should snap in pretty well. And then these collars, one goes on here, but holding these two together, and this collar one holds this and this together, and so those should hold together pretty well without any welding or glue. These ones should snap in. If they don't, I can also melt them in. There's not a collar on this holding it together like on the big ones, but I think it'll probably be fine. And I'm not afraid to use my soldering iron a little bit to weld things together, or even a 3D pen if I need to, but that's a little slower than the soldering iron. So you can always do the soldering iron sort of TIG style, you know, with the what do you call it, filler plastic, I should say. So let me go back to here. Yeah, so I guess you could already see it in the sliced version. Let me just pull this apart here, so you can see. I only show a couple pins here, but you get the basic idea. And I have extra holes here, and just because if I want to use more, I can use more. If I don't, I don't. And so again, here, the weak point will be sort of this cross section area here, but it should be fine. Interestingly, I look at this now, and this being round on round, we'll be sort of pushing this apart, and then the layer lines could be working against me there a little bit. Pretty sure it's going to be fine. Not for overhead lifting, and don't do military presses over your head with this, because in case it breaks, it's just going to be PLA. I will probably put it for download on Cults 3D. I don't think I ended up putting the other one on Cults. Just I may have. I don't know. I didn't finish printing it properly. Actually, one half of this piece on the other one was sort of incomplete, but it was good enough, and I used it, and it works. But this one should be much quicker and more convenient to change the weight sizes. I also made this straight portion of the handle a little wider, decreased this radius a little bit because my pinkies really kind of didn't fit in there well if I have both hands on it, but it should be fine. I might have lost a little bit of height on here as far as how many weight plates I can fit on it, but it's going to be plenty. I'm not trying to go super heavy, and it's just a quick thing. And if I want to make a more robust one, then I can make that a little bit taller quite easily. This should be good enough for now. So anyway, I will probably piece this together with some images of the print and maybe probably the final kettlebell. Probably won't do a workout video, not my thing. But anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned, and we'll see what else I can come up with. Here we are checking up on my kettlebell handle print on my K1 Max. Looking good. This is this material is. I was just gonna look for the spool. It's on the back of the machine. It is some kind of PLA plus in green, almost like a silk. I don't know. I have so much filament, I lost track. I just grabbed it. Looked like a cool color. Looking good. I intended to bring the existing kettlebell out and show that, but I forgot. And so I will just show that next round, if I remember. So there we go. Stay tuned. And just as I started to walk away, I realized it must have just got to the whatever layer to go faster, because it just cranked up the speed. This light is messing things up. There we go. Definitely moving a little quicker now. It's funny, maybe it doesn't seem too quick now, but compared to my old printers back in the day, it was like a snail making lines. These things crank. Plus, pretty heavy, pretty thick infill. I think I did 22%, and it's a gyroid infill. I like the gyroid infill. I think it distributes the stresses along curves rather than triangles, which triangles tend to be more rigid, but curves tend to bend a bit more but not cause as much cracking, because they distribute the stresses along a longer length, as opposed to triangle does a great job of being stiff, but really the stress of the corners on a triangle is really magnified. So you'll see that they'll, on various trusses and things, they'll triangulate, which is good practice. But if you can do arches and curves, that can be better if applied properly. In any case, enough for now. It's going to be a 9-hour print. I guess I'll get up in the morning and it'll probably be done. All right, you ready for this? Bam. That is the existing kettlebell. Little hockey tape here. It didn't come out perfect, but it came out functional, so I didn't care too much. I was wondering how I was going to do this one-handed, but here we go. Easy to take it apart one-handed, I guess. Just unthread that guy. All right. You can see the threads in there. They're sort of hexagonalized, just to make it print easier. Like, I could have done the full threads, but it wouldn't have been entirely print friendly, so I decided to truncate the threads a little bit so it would print better. And this one, oh, that's for it. Yeah, now that I remember it, I think about it, warped pretty good. So we'll see if this was printed on the K1, whereas the new one is printing on the K1 Max. And I did not use a brim because I get annoyed pulling the brims off. So you can see that warped pretty good. So obviously my squat max right here, 15 pounds. Well, you can see a nice design. And, 20 pounds. So this piece was nylon. The gray one was actually nylon. Nylon was like the first one I printed, and for some reason, I'm not sure what happened. One of them was good, one was bad, so I reprinted it in PLA yellow, and went for further engagement. And I don't remember. I'm trying to remember. This was quite a few months ago. Maybe the other piece warped or failed or something. But for some reason, I combined the shorter version of the nylon and the longer version of the PLA. But it ultimately works. And so that's the basic idea, but it's definitely more cumbersome. You got to thread it all the way in there. It's a really long thread. Whereas the new one, I figure I can much easier, because this doesn't self-center, right? I guess I could put a shoulder at the bottom, but it still wouldn't self-center all of them. So if I try to stack these weights on, and I could definitely, I mean, this is 20 pounds. I got 10-pound plates. I got 25-pound plates. I can load this thing right up. Although with the PLA version, a little sketchy. So, I mean, I guess I could do this, but let's see how easy it is to... I mean, maybe this is fine. Maybe I should have tried it this way in the first place. Didn't even realize. Yeah. I guess that's all it takes. Huh. Maybe I like this one better now. Go figure. I never tried loading it that way. See what I get for trying one hand. Look at that thing. It's pretty heavy. That's 20 pounds. Well, anyway, I have the new one coming. And maybe I will end up just using this one after all because that actually went really smoothly. I'm going to do that again just because it went so smoothly. I just need less threads. I need the shorter height of the nylon version. But I figured with the PLA, I wanted plenty of thread engagement. That was until I had to unthread it. So if I jangle these around, I bet it's still pretty easy. That's actually really good. Huh. Looks like what I originally did is okay. But I have a different version, and I guess I'll compare the two. And we'll see when that happens. All right. There is my completed prints of my, what do you call it, kettlebell handle. Version 2. I'm just going to bring it in the house. Nice beautiful morning out here in formerly Arctic New England. I don't know, it's going to be at least 60 degrees out at 7 a.m. Anyway, be back in a minute. All right, here we are. Here's my old version 1, version 2 kettlebell. If anybody's not familiar with, well, I guess anybody that's familiar with what 3D printing used to be, this would be no surprise. The magnetic bed. Back when I was a kid, just kidding, 5 years ago, oh, maybe a little more. Oops, lost one. There weren't these, or at least these steel spring magnetized beds weren't really a thing. But they were great. All right, so we get these guys, we get these pins. We'll see how they snap in. May or may not be a good fit. I probably went a little on the tight side. Look at that. I just happened to have one of these persuaders. Nice. Persuader for the win. Look at that. A little wobbly, but staying together so far. Throw the collar on there. That could be tighter, but it shouldn't go anywhere. Oh, no, I thought I did the wrong size pin there. Did I do one of them wrong? No, here's the other pin. These are smaller pins for this guy. I only did 2 pins for some reason. Probably fine. If anybody has any better ways to join parts like this, let me know in the comments. Or if anybody would see a tutorial of how I made these, you could also request that in the comments. This is a little off center. I kind of cheated with these. Actually, that may work out. That may help it stay. They're a little long. That's fine. Probably help it stay together better. But that's actually more secure than the other one. So we got that guy. We got that guy. Let's throw the handle together here. I don't need all the pins. But I figure the more I do, the more secure it's going to be. There we go. Seems like a good number of pins. I don't think those will line up if I don't do the initial persuasion. All right then. All right then. Right then. I'll just smash my fingers instead. There we go. Crisis averted. Uh-huh. Don't try this at home. I definitely recommend not hitting your pinky finger with a hammer. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Fantastic. All right. So I was at a family gathering recently. This color sort of reminded me of this. And we were having tacos. And somebody said, we have avocado for the tacos. And I said, avocado, don't mind if I do. And everybody said it wasn't funny while they laughed uncontrollably. They said they were laughing at me. I said, does it really matter? And it became the joke of the night. So, try it on your people. Or, avocado don't really care if you don't. Or, you know what? That was a perfect opportunity. I should have said, avocado don't care if you avocado don't. This is going to call this avocado green. Looks like we get a little bit of warpage there, but that's fine. Nothing a little hockey tape won't fix, which is why I did that one in the first place. Which might have clued me that it was a possibility to happen again. Evidently these pins, I wonder if I didn't make these pins short enough of the holes, or vice versa. Those don't want to go tighter than that. But this thing, I'm calling this joined. So this retainer collar on here. Pretty good. A little looser than I would have preferred, but it snapped on. So it's kind of falling off, but I think it's going to be fine. All right, let's give it a test. And the pin doesn't go in. Why? Oh, I gotta line it up properly. Goof. Gotta line it up with the hole, you know. Still doesn't want to go. Went part way in. I mean, did I make the shoulder too tall? Is it these too wide? Looks like these pins are a little bit proud. Let's persuade that a little better. Oops. I persuaded that a little extra. This might be just enough to do the trick, though. Oops. Avocado, don't do this at home. Nice. Look at that. Kettlebell. Does this come out easy? Oh, that's so much easier than the old way of twisting this thing all the way off. I mean, it works. I'm sure it's stronger, but I mean, this is 20 pounds. Apart now. Maybe. After that abuse, that part seems to be unscathed, that part seems to be unscathed, and this part, I over-persuaded it with the persuader a little bit, but where the stresses were from me abusing it there, seemed to be fine. Let's try a third plate. Uh-oh. Yep. So I should have made it taller. That's what Kevin Hart's mother said. But what are you going to do? I guess it's just an excuse to make another one. And maybe I'll put a brim on these guys so it doesn't warp. Or maybe a raft. Maybe a raft would do that. I mean, I could probably put, I know I could put a 25 on here. I might even be able to put two 25s. I would like to be able to, like a 4 5s on there for 20. I mean, I could do another 5 for 25. At 25. That's not a 25. But this is. So obviously, I mean, I know I had 20 on there, not 30. I was going to say I had 30 on there, but I mean, so far. Oops. Let's see if I can get another 25 on that. It's kind of early for lifting weights, but unfortunately, that's what I'm supposed to. 225s don't. Oh. Look, you know, there you go. I mean, that's 50 pounds. Looks like it works to me. If I really needed to do 50 pounds. So, we'll call that a win. I'll probably put that on for download on Cults 3D. Probably be like $300 a download. Maybe less. Today, you know, you'd think, you know, $350, $300, $200. Today only, $1.99, and you don't just get one. If you buy now, your download will work more than once. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your like-minded friends, and maybe even hit the notification bell and all those YouTube-y social media things. And see you in the next one.